Hello everyone! This video serves as both an update and a guide as to how I rig most of the characters in my videos. So the video is still almost done, but this month I had to help someone I know clear out their apartment as to not get evicted. This used up several weeks of my time, but now the task is complete, so I'll be working to do the final step to get the video out as soon as possible. This next video may end up being up to 15 minutes long, so as I said, it's a large video, contains a very large cast. So I hope you will all understand. Audio-wise, it's one of my favorite videos I've worked on. I've also created a Discord server for further updates in the future if you want to join. Now, I'm going to be going through the entire process of how I rig characters for you tech fans out there. And this includes two different methods, using AutoRig Pro and Mixamo. Alright, let's get into it. So, the first method I'm going to show you is going to be the super fast, easy, and totally free method. And I'll talk about the downsides of them later. So, this is the Mixamo method. I'm going to be rigging this Leon character that I extracted from the game. And what I'm doing right now is just selecting all of the meshes, and then I'm going to export FBX. Well, when I export it, I'm going to make sure to select the limit to selected objects, and I'm going to select object types mesh. That way I don't export all of the empties or armatures or lights in the scene. And then we're going to hit export FBX. Now within Mixamo, you can create an account here for free. You can use your Google account or whatever. All you have to do to upload a custom character is click on the big button that says upload character. Then you can select the FBX, the mesh that you exported, and it will load in here. Now you're given the T-pose of your character or whatever pose they're in. It generally works better with an A pose or T pose. You just have to put these little rings on the location that it's labeled. Once you're done, you hit next, and it will load and start auto-generating the rig for your character and binding it to the rig. It's actually very impressive how this rigging process works. I think that the results tend to be very good, though I will say I usually utilize Mixamo for background characters or side characters, not primary characters. And the reason why is because you don't have as many nice controllers and little features that allow for fine-tuning. So once your character is rigged, you can use any of these animations that Mixamo has. So I've picked this dancing animation just because it's good to demonstrate the rigging quality. And we're going to click on the download button, select the frame rate that we want, and then hit download. You'll get your FBX file with animation baked in. Now within Blender, you hit import FBX, find your animation file that you downloaded, and it will import in here. And there you have it. You have a fully rigged character. Very, very fast, very easy. And you can use this rig for a lot of things. You can even set it up with inverse kinematics, and you can download any other animations you want. I've been utilizing the Mixamo rigs a little bit when it comes to Rococo, because Rococo does have a export Mixamo format. So that's pretty much it. It's extremely easy, extremely fast to rig up these characters. The only downsides of Mixamo is that sometimes the hands are a little bit off, or the collar is a little bit off, and maybe the rigging will have some strange weighting. But this is generally easy to fix, and also it's very, very good considering how fast it is. Like, I don't normally run into a whole lot of problems. But the next method is what I use for my main characters, not my side characters, and this is the AutoRig Pro method. With this, you have far more features such as eye movements, like realistic eye controllers, really advanced inverse kinematic options, and a whole lot of rigging tools. It's really, really nice, but it has its own flaws as well. So to start the AutoRig Pro process, first of all, you have to buy it from the Blender Marketplace. This is not free, but I really do think this is ideal for the workflow. I mean, there's some improvements that I hope they can make down the road, but AutoRig Pro has helped me a ton in all of my videos. So the first thing you do is go to the AutoRig Pro panel, and then you go down to the AutoRig Pro Smart. After selecting all of the objects that you want to be rigged, you select Get Selected Objects, then you select Full Body, and hit OK. So now you pretty much do what you do in Mixamo, and you hit Add Neck, Add Chin, etc., and you put them in place of where the character is This will inform where the bones will be generated. Once you got them all in their place, you hit facial setup, and then you do something similar where you select where all of the facial markers go to set up a very advanced facial rig. The first time I tried rigging this Leon character, the hair actually got in the way and I had to restart the process. As you can see, the eye bones were a little screwed up because it was detecting the hair as being part of the facial mesh. So I removed the hair and started the process again, and this time it worked out well. So all of this just sets up your rig. It doesn't actually attach your mesh to the armature. During the facial setup, you're going to want to select your left and right eyeball. Use the eyedropper to select the mesh. Then once you have it already, you hit go. This will generate the reference rig, and you can select match to rig to create the final control armature. As you can see, you have a whole bunch of little controls, and it's extremely nifty, very useful. But now we have to start attaching the mesh to the actual armature. In order to actually bind your mesh to your armature, go into the skin tab of the AutoRig Pro tab, and then select heat maps or voxelized. Just select the mesh and then select the armature, and you can hit bind, and it will use the method that you select, either voxelized or heat maps, and automatically bind the mesh and create all of the vertex groups that are needed. So when it comes to skinning, there are two main types. There's the heat maps, and then there's the voxelized skinning method. The heat maps method is best for the face and hands, whereas the voxelized method is best for clothing and complicated meshes with lots of dangly parts. For the eyeballs, you have to manually create the vertex groups for them. For the left eye, you want to call it C_I.L, and then for the right eye, you do C_I.R. And you want to make sure to assign it. After creating the vertex groups, you're going to want to make sure the eyes are actually attached to the armature by selecting the eyes and then selecting the armature and then hitting Control P and then armature deform. This will allow the eyes to actually be moved by the eye controller, as you can see here. It's pretty cool. So you can see I use the voxelized method for the body, and it works pretty well. I had some issues with the mesh weighting for the outfits. For one, I merged the vertices because there were some detachments. There was also some really strong and sharp weights, so I selected everything and smoothed out all of the weights. With AutoRig Pro, you're pretty much always going to have to clean up the weights a bit. It's never like it's not like quite like Mixamble where you select a button and then everything works really, really well. But the good news is that once you got it all working, you have a very controllable character rig. And these character rigs are perfect for the kind of scenes that I make, where characters have to look at particular objects, hands have to be delicately controlling other objects. Now that we actually have the character created and bound to the armature, I'll show you one of the coolest features that AutoRig Pro has, which is retargeting. You can use the animation from Mixammo and retarget it to this new AutoRig Pro rig. And the way you do this is you put them in the same spot, make sure they're in the same pose. For the source armature, select the rig that has the animations you want to copy, and then hit the eyedropper. Then select your target armature, and with the eyedropper, select the AutoRig Pro rig. After this, you hit Build Bone List, and it will create the list of bones and try to match them as best as possible. You can scroll down to mapping presets after you built the bone list, and select the little arrow down in the middle, and select Mixammo, one of the Mixammo options anyway. There's a whole bunch of other options there. This is good if you are using one of these type of rigs. So once you have that, make sure your settings are correct. The main settings you're looking for with this retarget menu, you want to find the hip bone and make sure it's marked as set as root. The AutoRig Pro root bone is called CRootMaster.x. And then you also want to make sure that if you're using inverse kinematics for your hands, you want to make sure you're using the actual IK bones and select IK in the menu. These settings will be completely set for you if you're simply using a Mixammo rig to copy from. Once you have it all set, you simply hit retarget in your animation range and what type of keyframe interpolation you want, and hit OK. This might take a while depending on how long the animation is, but here are the results. It's pretty good. So now we have the exact same animation from Mixammo, but now we can fine-tune it with an extremely advanced rig. Here's a little bit of animation advice. You can select any of these bones that you want to modify, so like this foot bone, and you can go into the graph editor. And then make sure you go into the view options and select only selected curve keyframes. This will allow you to see only the curve value for that bone or controller. And then you can select any of the keyframes and modify them here. You can select all of the values or just a few, or just influence over a particular range, and you can modify them. This is actually really useful for making sure that feet don't go through the ground or hands not going through tables. And also, here's another little bit of advice. If you find the animation to be a little bit choppy, you can select all of the curves and then select key and go up to smooth keys. And this will smooth out the animation that you have selected. So those are basically my two main methods. I use AutoRig Pro for main characters and I use Mixamo for side background characters. As you can see, both methods are very fast and very simple to use. And Mixamo is definitely the easiest method and the most free. So I highly recommend people utilize Mixamo. It's a free service currently, and I love it, and I hope it stays free. So thank you, patrons. I very much appreciate your support. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I realize I can go into a lot more detail, and if you want more information, feel free to message me. I'm going to be working very hard on my next video, and I think you will all enjoy it. So hopefully the video will be out soon. I appreciate you all. Farewell. Thank you very much.